Peace.
Peace.
Welcome to Insight from the Godz. Me and Kim Gray get to it a little bit early. But if you true followers, then you're going to always be in tune with wherever we at. So hopefully you pick up on the frequency and get this work. We're ready to get this work. It's 2025 closing out. Going into 2026, we try and shed old skin so we can make room for the new endeavors that awaits us in our future going into the wisdom equality year.
No doubt. You know, wisdom equality was build or destroy. So we got to build on new ideas as the new year approach, and we got to destroy those old ideas and leave them behind, like we're going to leave the year that's passing us behind. And old ideas and anything that hinder us from our growth and development, that's in our rear view mirror right now, man. It's time to move forward with more progressive ideas. And a lot of times when you move forward, that means also cutting off people, you know what I'm saying, who have those old ideas, that old mentality, or that frame of mind that does not perpetuate us into the future and keep us into current events. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, man, we hold on to old things when they no longer serve a purpose in our life. And your life must be purpose driven. You must find your purpose, live out your purpose, and that's the only way you can stay current and up to date with the new year. Peace.
No doubt, no doubt. We got to talk about baggage, because baggage comes in the material and the immaterial. Whatever weighing you down and holding you back is baggage, and we should not be taking baggage into the new year. Whether you believe in New Year's resolutions or not, there's always a chance to rebirth, regenerate, reproduce, and reinvigorate and hit the reset button and get rid of all the stuff that's not conducive to your development so that you can make room and way for what's new. If you crowd it and got your space preoccupied with nonsense and stuff that's not serving you, you will miss your opportunities to produce anything new because there won't be no room for it. If you do, it's going to be crowded, and that's what leads to confusion.
No doubt. I think that once you attune yourself to what's actually happening in the now, that grounds you better to be more established in the present and in the now. And when your frequency doesn't allow you to be up to date and current with what's occurring, it puts you in a situation where your energy becomes stagnant, and having stagnant energy locks you in an old frequency pattern, and you'll cling on to people who ideas don't mesh with moving forward. And another thing that we have to look out for is the help that we thought we was receiving from that old energy. A lot of times it's just tagging on, it's just hanging on, because the help really not help. That help was looking to help themselves in the disguise of helping you. You know what I'm saying? So we got to keep our third eye open as we move forward into this new year and recognize those that want to grow with us, that want to develop with us, instead of those who are imposters and acting like they're trying to help, but the whole time they really not trying to help. They're just trying to cling on to you because really they look at you as a meal ticket for their next venture. While you have to remember this, the star of the movie, and anybody not helping with you, they just extras. You know what I'm saying? And you got to keep your mind and your third eye wide open and see everything for what it truly is. And that's the only way you can get the full use out of anything, if you know its properties, its value, and its function. And if you don't update your value, if you don't learn new things, then you can't serve a new purpose because your mind is filled with old information and old ideas. You know what I'm saying? And with that, I'm gonna let the God add on some more to that.
No doubt, no doubt. So it's like we got, sometimes when you elevating, you're gonna attract people that wanna elevate with you. And it's okay to help and assist people on your way. But once they become a problem, once they become like dead weight, meaning if you offering advice to a friend or a confidant or whoever it is that you consider your peer to assist, if they're not receptive to what you have to offer when they came to you for the advice, that's dead weight. So
Facts.
my purpose of going into the new year, I don't care about nobody's feelings or none of that. If you somebody that I feel like is not conducive and helpful or even appreciative of the jewels that we lay down, then you're a problem. I'm gonna make sure I address you as the problem so that you can know, because I don't support the phonies.
Right.
I'm not into supporting phony energy, and that's so important because sometimes, man, I see it with like celebrities and people of that magnitude. Sometimes the people that start out with them, you wonder why they disconnect from a lot of people once they make it.
Right.
Because some of those people be dead weight. They be more of a problem than it's actually worth.
Right.
And it's like if you can't, I remember I read this book once, and it was this black guy that was working for these Jews in a little bodega or whatever. And the black guy was working for them almost 20 years, right? Same position, never really elevated. He got content in his space, in his job, in his occupation. Suddenly, on the 21st year, the Jew said, hey, I'm shutting down the business. I'm going back home. So the black guy was like, damn, well, what I supposed to do?
Right.
He said, well, you had 20 years to figure it out. If you haven't put nothing together for yourself or your family on your own, then that's your problem. That's not mine. Now, the person that's on the underside of that scenario would look at that guy like he wrong, he's out of order, it's unfair. But to the person, the guy that made the move, it's fair to him because it's like, I can't take you with me. You had the same opportunity I had to build something.
Facts.
So you can't make the person that move on responsible for taking you with them when you're no longer needed for their process and development into where they're going in life. And sometimes we got to recognize these kind of patterns. Some people are worth the extra assistance and worth the extra pull because you see that they're growing. But when you no longer see that they're growing and they start to go against you, the one that's trying to help them evolve, you got to let them, you got to cut that tie.
Right.
You got to leave them right where they're at, because otherwise they'll pull you down if you're not careful.
Facts.
So going into 2026, this is one of my main ingredients of transformation, to cut all dead energy and all dead weight. If you're not elevating, I got to leave you somewhere to elevate somewhere else, but it won't be on this elevator. You can take the stairs, but you won't be riding this elevator with me. This is for people that's trying to grow, trying to evolve, and we're going to be coming with a lot of brand new, fresh ideas. So if you're not really adding on to those ideas and that development of uncommon dialogue through HEAL, then you're not a part of this circle that we're trying to build.
Facts.
Because we're not doing it for no clout. We're not doing it for no, none of that. We doing it because it's something in us that moves us to be the forefathers of a certain movement that give value to our people, that can help spark something in them. We're not babysitters. We're not putting on the training wheels. We're trying to put something in you that can grow inside you, and we'll help cultivate that as it grows. But if you're not watering the seed and you're complaining about your seed, your plant not growing, then it's not our responsibility, because we gave you the seed, which you do if it is on you. But if I see that you're not watering it, I don't have no water for you. That's your job.
Facts. A lot of times when you don't water the soil, you can't produce no new vegetation. Vegetation is the nourishment for life. It's what feeds the masses. It's what feeds your family. It's what feeds you. But if you don't cultivate the land, if you don't till the field or tend to your garden, you can't produce no fruit. And what you don't produce, you can't use. You can't nourish off of it. I think that a lot of times we fall in love with the idea of being committed to people, even if the people begin to make moves that show they're not committed to you. And a lot of times they can show you that by not being willing to grow, by short-circuiting the energy that you're putting out, by always challenging something when they know you telling them something that's right. They'll know you giving them the best advice. They'll know that you're laying down a format that can help them grow and develop. They'll know that you're giving them something that they can pass on and bequeath to other people so that they can flourish as a person. but something in them always want to challenge what you are giving them. And this challenge comes from something in them that is blocking their own blessings.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? And we don't have time to stop the blessings that we want to give to the youth, that we want to give to men and women who really want to grow, to just cater to your emotional insecurities and try to keep talking to you about the same old pattern behavior. I always say, how many times you got to get hit with a straight right before you weave or get out the way? A lot of times you keep creating or manifesting that same emotional pattern and keep creating the same behavior over and over, instead of saying, you know what, let me try a different energy. Let me put a different approach to this. Let me change how I feel. And it comes from losing the overstanding that whenever you reach out to accomplish anything, the happiness should already be within you. That should be the motivating factor of why you want to achieve, as opposed to trying to achieve and then becoming happy because of the achievement. That's not where you should be at with it. Then you have those who are trapped in this emotional roller coaster where they are actually addicted to sadness, addicted to mourning, addicted to having the energy like, oh, I can't do this, or oh, if I just was given another chance and circumstances ain't working out for me and everybody letting me down. And well, what are you doing to produce this type of behavior in the people who once supported you? These are the things that we don't ask. Damn, maybe I'm giving off some energy that's really repelling people instead of attracting them. Because you don't really supposed to chase anything. You're just supposed to attract it to you. And from that point on, continue to grow, maintain, and elevate. Also, when people come in contact with you after you have attracted people and better circumstances, you're supposed to be so full of information, of knowledge, of spiritual awareness, that everything around you become enhanced by your presence. If the people around you are not becoming enhanced by your presence, then you're actually not a benefit, you're a detriment to them. If your language isn't a motivational language, if your ideas aren't ideas that inspire people to do greatness, to break records, to surpass old limitations, then pretty much you're stagnant. And all of my inner circle have knowledge of self. If you do not have knowledge of self, and everybody in your inner circle do except for one or two, that one or two is going to stick out like a sore thumb, because they're not going to know what to do in any given situation. And sometimes life is not going to allow you to stop and explain it. They have to absorb the wisdom that is leaking off of you as a person and know how to apply it according to life circumstances. These are the people you need to surround yourself with. And this kind of advice is real life advice, not advice that's living in fantasy, not advice that is living in the what if and the maybes and the it might just. We don't deal with that. We deal with reality. You know what I'm saying? Certain things have to occur in order for other things to happen. You know what I'm saying? If you don't shine no sunlight on your garden, if you don't put water on it, nothing's going to grow from it. The sunlight is the information, that's the knowledge. The water is the nourishment of that knowledge. And so in the process of understanding that, we have to know when to apply it and what to do with it in any given situation. And know and understand and live this out in your everyday practice. And I think a lot of times this is what produces the hypocrite mentality. We forget to live out in our personal practices the things that we know. We forget to apply it in everyday situations. And this is why I always say that just because you know how to talk about it don't mean you know it. Knowing it implies living it and walking it in a way where a person can learn it from you just by watching how you move. A lot of lessons don't have to be spoken. They don't have to be verbally expressed. If a person observes how you deal with problems, then they can overstand and say, well, damn, how can you fix this problem without me telling you? Easy. By you observing how does Lakim handle problems without him telling me. If a problem occurs, study the people you are around and say, damn, I like how he handled that situation. He ain't got to tell me how to handle it. I saw in living reality how he handled the situation and came out on top without sacrificing his freedom, without compromising his integrity as a man, and without losing himself in the process of checking any given situation that may be diametrically opposed to what he represents. And this is the observation of true learning. You have to observe. A lot of lions don't come out of the lioness womb knowing how to roar. They look at the father and hear the father's roar and watch the mother's grace. And they learn by observation. And they begin to apply it by observing how they respond in living situations. And this is why they become successful hunters, and they can provide for them families and carry out their destiny and fulfill their obligation as a person or as a lion or as whatever species on whatever level of life they exist on, because they understand that everything is practice and living given time. I have a saying where I always say, what you learn to do, you can only learn by doing. You can't learn it by not doing it, because you know it in your head, but you don't know it in manifestation. Person can tell you how to fix the car, but until you get the wrench and get the tools and get greasy and get under the car and work the tool and know which one go on what, you will never know how to fix it. And that's how life is. You have to actually do the work. If you ain't never tried to reach the youth, never tried to speak a language that is attractive or magnetic to their ear, then you will never learn how to get to them. You got to get out there amongst them and talk to them and get in them. You know what I'm saying? In their heart and in their mind. And it takes a skillful person to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of things in this modern society is looked at as being phony and fake and plastic and disingenuous and unauthentic. So a lot of times when people don't respond to you, you got to give yourself a checkup from the neck up and say, damn, self-analysis. Let me be real with myself. Am I giving off some kind of energy that is repelling people? Now, that don't mean if you're around a bunch of plastic motherfuckers and you start kicking realness and they get away from you, that don't mean that something's wrong with you. It just means that the majority of people that you choose to surround yourself with are blind, deaf, and dumb and poisonous animal eaters and don't understand the power of who they are, and they are afraid of it. And I want to build on that for a hot second, because when you are afraid of your own potential, you are refusing to shoulder the responsibility of being who you are in your fullest potential. And a lot of people are afraid of themselves. They are afraid to take that step and grow out of the old pattern and the old way and those old behaviors that never got them nowhere. You've been smoking cigarettes for 20 years and you never decided to stop. Then when the doctor tells you you got lung cancer, you upset. Right. When you knew that smoking, there was a gamble in this. There was a chance that it could give you every kind of lung infection. Every kind of respiratory disease could come from the 21 carcinogens that's found in a cigarette, but you continued with that behavior. And so it's the same in life. You continue with a particular behavior that's toxic, and you expect to get something good out of a toxic mentality and a toxic expression of the divine that is in you, and you can't get that from that. You have to transmute your bad habits into good habits and manifest them, man, and breathe on people the best that you have, because that's how you get the best back out of people, man. If you give a lackluster energy or phony, false energy, then people are not going to feel the need to keep it real with you. Right. They're not going to feel the need to be obligated to aid and assist you if you don't even exude that yourself. Right. No, don't nobody want to be robbed. That's sophisticated robbery when you profess or project to be a particular way, and then when the people meet you, you drop the ball every time. I can see if you have a bad day and they're like, "Oh man, this motherfucker cussed too much. I thought he was a little more purified than that." That's different than you constantly doing things to remind them that you the same nigga you was 20 years ago. You just learned some new words and can flow a little bit. And so now the public think that you have really changed or you had a power to transform life when you really have lost that ability because you refuse to grow. And growth and development is always going to be the words to our song. This is our mantra. This is the poetry that spits from our mouth. It's growth, it's development, and it's using your growth and development for the betterment of yourself, your people, the youth, and your future, man. And you can never go wrong with that.
No doubt, no doubt.
Facts.
Yeah, that was mouthful, no doubt, man. But I think it still goes to the just being authentic with yourself and who you are. And a lot of people, we talk about this term all the time, delusions of grandeur, right? And because a lot of people, they think just because they're an adult, just because you're an adult don't make you an OG.
Right.
Just because you committed crimes or went to prison don't make you an OG. What makes you an OG is being able to take your authentic self and share that with someone to inspire them to change on their own without force. Meaning that they respect something about you and enough to listen to you and take heed to what you have to offer. A lot of people I hear say how disruptive the youth are and how they don't want to hear this and that. No, they don't want to hear it from you.
Right.
That's the kicker. Just because you're older than them doesn't validate them just giving you their ear.
Indeed.
If they're not listening to nothing you want to say or you can't get them to come along on a positive movement, that's a reflection of yourself, not them. Don't condemn them for not wanting to listen. Maybe it's you not giving them nothing to listen to. And some people think that just because they've been through certain things or whoever they think they think other people supposed to see that as well.
Right.
If they're repelling against with anything that you're trying to produce or manifest to them, then that's a defect in your character, not them.
Exactly.
Everybody can't reach the youth. Everybody want to act like they got something to say to the youth.
Right.
You got to make sure that you have the right ingredients so when you do get their ear, you can keep it. You got something valid to give them. And I'm going to give a brief scenario. We had a little young guy, intelligent young man that came into our group last night.
Yes, sir.
Right?
That was Sean.
And I give big kudos to anybody that come through the door just to even give it a shot, whether they was brung there, whether they wanted to come on their own.
Right.
But my job as their elder in this situation is to test them myself.
That's right.
I'm not going to let nobody bring nobody to me and let them speak for them. I need to get that from them myself.
Facts.
So my introduction is posture. I look at posture. Your posture is going to tell me how much your mentor poured into you. If you got poor posture, that's his fault, not the kid's fault.
Right.
If he don't know how to shake a hand firmly, that's his fault, not the kid's fault.
Right.
So these are things I pick up on, so I'll attend to address it with that person and the individual. Because you can't blanket me with the bull crap.
Right.
I'm going to see through it. So I addressed the young man. He had a disposition of disconnection.
Right.
And I like to have everybody energy on a similar level. Because if your energy and your vibration is lower than the vibration in the room, I'm going to pick up on it. And I'm going to try to figure out how can I elevate the vibration.
Right.
Sometimes people are in circumstances or in places where they're not comfortable. And that's perfectly okay.
Right.
Because I'm not comfortable in some of the places I go.
Right.
But your presentation speaks volumes.
Indeed.
Your demeanor speaks volumes. That's a language by itself. Without you having to utter a word, you can tell me so much about you, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you're mentoring these young guys, mentoring them and give them something, nourishment for their mind.
Right.
So that if you're not in their presence, they can maintain a certain level of mental stability that they can represent and speak for themselves.
Facts.
And oftentimes when I come across these kids that come from certain mentors and I ask them questions, it's like they just came out of a cave. Because it's like, damn, well, what are they teaching you? Are they really just having you just to have you, to say that for the show and the look of it? Or are you really giving them something? Or are you really doing it for a paycheck? These are the type of people I have a problem with. And I don't really care who they are, because I'm about getting out the imposters. You can't fake with these kids. This is why they so disagreeable, because the wrong people is getting the influence around them, and they're not, their intention and their heart is not in it. Because if it is, I want you to be better than me. So if you're a reflection of me and this is what I see, then that's a reflection of you, no matter how young or old.
Facts.
Whoever you bring with you, you're responsible for them. That's just the same way you have your woman. Your woman is a representation of you. She is the moon and the man is the sun. Indeed. The light that she get comes from the light of the sun. The moon is just the satellite that reflect the light of the intelligence that I impose on them.
Right.
And that's our job as kings and OGs, if you want to call it.
Right.
But this is our responsibility. You can't wear them titles and you're not representing and manifesting what goes with it.
Indeed.
You can't mislead the youth indirectly. And a lot of us is misleading the youth because we have lack of knowledge of self. And if you don't have knowledge of self, you can't instill knowledge of self in nobody else.
Facts.
And I see this, and this is where we fail at, because we don't call it out when we see it. So we got to learn how to call bullshit out when we see it, no matter who it is, no matter whom and what. We got to be able to call it out. And this is why I like to have those groups, because I get to test and see where you're really at. You can't fake us out. We're going to make you speak. We're going to make you talk. And when you talk, we're going to get a gauge on where you are mentally so we can know where to reach you at.
Right.
So I need to be knowing what's really real. So you can't come to our groups and sit there and pout and frown and don't say nothing. I need good posture. All this is going to tell me what you're learning.
Right.
When you come in there several times and I see the same thing, it shows me that you're not learning. But it's not the kid's fault. It's whoever is responsible for having his influence.
Facts.
And they're the ones that I like to call out and address. And I'm not here to be liked. I want you to get the wisdom. Don't like the messenger, like the message. I don't want you to like the messenger. If you do, cool, but if not, that's just as fine. But my main importance is so that you can get the message.
No doubt. I think that sometimes what happens is, like Brother Knowledge so eloquently just pointed out, is that people be trying to win a popularity contest instead of really helping the youth. They're trying to be the most known for doing it instead of actually doing it. And that's a difference. I know a lot of organizations, I know a lot of people that are known for doing it, but when you measure the quality of the youth that they have came around, they have left them empty. And that's something that I can say we don't tolerate and we do not do. If you come to either one of our groups, everybody has to participate. There's no exception to this rule. You're going to get a card at Brother Knowledge group. You're going to get thoroughly questioned at my group. It's going to be an action. It's going to be something that reveals where you are along the path and the road of life. Simple as that. No stone is left unturned, man. And I think that a lot of times, like I said, we want people to fall in love with this grandeur of illusion. And this is how we destroy people. Because if they ever see a flaw in the person that they admire too much, it discourages them on the path that they should stay on. Right. Because they didn't fall in love with the path of enlightenment. They fell in love with the person that put them on the path. Right. And I think a lot of times in history, this has been a prime example of what has happened amongst our youth, especially with leaders. And I think that sometimes we can make misjudgments and put young brothers, you know what I'm saying, on a path that is too much for them before they are ready, because we're not really learning them. You know what I'm saying? We're not pouring into them where we can discern where they are at along the path. And so we overburden them with too much responsibility because we haven't measured the weight of what they can take. And then when they fall apart, we criticize them and say, see, I told you, you wasn't ready. But as their instructor, as their enlightener, you should have peeped whether they was ready for that at that particular stage in their growth and development. And that just don't go for the youth. Right. That go for your woman, that go for your friend, that go for your partners or the people that's in your immediate cipher. Right. Don't never overburden somebody with something and then accuse them of falling apart when you placed on them something that they were not ready for at that particular time. It's like picking a piece of fruit that's not yet ripe and expecting it to be sweet and have more nutrients when the fruit itself is not even developed to produce the effect that you want or you need. And I think we have to look twice or look 3 times at our work before we approve of anything, man. And I think a lot of times as enlighteners, sometimes we get lost on the path ourselves if we don't give ourselves this daily analysis and this daily checkup. You know what I'm saying? It's a saying that I always use. I say that we live in a world where we have to reevaluate everybody every day. But there's a flip side to that. You also have to reevaluate yourself every day, especially if you are a person of accountability. A lot of times we live amongst people that hate accountability. We live amongst people that hate for us to point out their shortcomings and where they're going wrong because they're too much in the ego to correct their behavior, even if that behavior is sending them to the path of destruction or to their demise. And we all have been there because we've all had advice. If you keep doing this, you're going to end up in prison. If you keep doing this or committing these acts, this going to happen, that's going to happen. And we continue to do it anyway because we think we know it all in that situation. Until the situation presents itself to us and we like, damn, I'm in something I can't get out of. Or when I finally do come out of the situation, it's going to be so much of me gone and left from dealing with that situation. This is why you see brothers come home from prison. And some of them look like empty shells. Or some of them wasted their life in prison doing nothing. And so all they can talk about is the brutal side of prison or that aspect of prison that just deals with physicality. They don't talk about how you should just get in the college program while the opportunity is there. Get a trade while the opportunity is there. Learn certain things while the opportunity is there because you know on the street you're not even going to slow down long enough to even get that. So while you haven't sat down for a minute, take advantage of that sit down and start to involve yourselves in things and produce bodies of work that is long lasting. And a lot of times, man, we wait until a situation consumes us and then we flip out. We may not do it in ways that others do it. You run into guys in the can, man, they be in a joint and every mad call, they in the mad line. You know what I'm saying? They trying to medicate through prison. No, they ain't become a dope fiend. They ain't start getting high. Not that way. But they forfeited the right to consciousness because they kept taking Motrin and kept taking Xanadrills and all these damn pills that do nothing but numb you. And so they can't use the full capacity of their brain because that became a form of escapism. You know what I'm saying? On Rikers, they have this saying, when you're crazy, they say you 730, because 730 was the time that they passed out meds, I believe in the G building at that time. And it was always at 730. And when they called med call, and you see everybody in that damn med line, and most of them people was 730. They was crazy. And if they wasn't, they became crazy from trying to wash their pain and their struggle away by medicating themselves, man. And we don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I got friends that all they do is drink. All they do is find some form of escapism because they don't want to shoulder the responsibility of what their actions have brought about. And we got to change that reality, man. We got to breathe onto them a powerful spirit, you know what I'm saying? And not in a way that is religious, but in a way that is reality, in a way that stands them up and makes them continue to stand up. And not only that, gives them the active ability to help other people stand up. And that takes a true talent. Once you get yourself right, it takes a certain kind of tenacity and energy to convince other people to get themselves right. And that's the path that we're on. We just don't want to tell you about who you are. We want to give you the active ability to speak to other people, to articulate this message in a way where it is so inspiring that it make other people stand up and get up and make a motion. And in the motion that they make, create something in the motion that they are doing. And I think we have a saying like, what you're doing, you ain't making no motion. You know what I'm saying? The motion dictates activity. You know what I'm saying? If you watch something that is in motion, it's a movement involved. And anything that's moving is exerting energy. And anything that's at a standstill ain't exerting anything is considered dead. It's not moving. You know what I'm saying? And so we want you to move. We want you to get active. We want you to get up and have the active ability to express yourself, have the active ability to generate the creative mind. And that's what a lot of us have lost. We don't have one creative bone in our body, but we want to be considered a God. One of the attributes of a God is to create. If you're not creating, how can you be connected to the creator? One of the attributes as being the reflection and the embodiment of God in person is having an active ability to create things, to bring new things into existence and watch them grow and develop and flourish. And I think that you're responsible for what you create. So you can't even forfeit the right to nurture what you create after you get it into existence. Because you got to watch out for that too. You got people that create ideas and then can't even maintain and develop the idea that they created. So another person come along and take it. Yeah. And then they take that idea and they build it and make it into something that they should have made it into. And then they say that person stole their idea. Right. But you wasn't doing nothing with it anyway. Right. In fact, you only want it back because they were able to take it and make it what it is, what you should have done with it. And since they took it and made it into something far greater, now all of a sudden you have a problem with them taking the idea, but you didn't do nothing but let it die. You breathed into it and then you aborted the responsibility of raising it. And it's the same with children. It's the same with youth. You are responsible for what you create and you can't forfeit it. Once you put it out there, man, you got to nurture it. You got to breathe on it. You have to be consistent and constant with it. I have a saying. I say that a constant drop of water can soften the hardest rock. And that is a metaphor for anything that seems like it's in your way. Any hard situation that seems like you can't remove, all you have to do is just be consistent. Don't give up. Stay at it. A constant drop of water can soften the hardest rock. And look how soft and gentle water is. Yet over time, water dripping on a rock slowly melts the rock down. So you have to think in that sense, like I'm not even gonna get up, I'm just gonna be that constant drop of water. You know what I'm saying? And water produces more life than anything. So drip on people, breathe on people, become that water that they become purified by, man. The Jizza talked about the liquid sword. The liquid sword is the tongue that spit words in the form of liquid that cut. You know what I'm saying? And once you cut through the bullshit, once you cut through the lies and the deceit, you can't do nothing but heal. And once you're in the healing process, man, then you stand back up because now you're resurrected. You out the grave now, man. You've been cut loose from the prison system. You've been cut loose from the prison of drug use. You've been cut loose from smoking and having bad ideas and bad habits, from womanizing and losing your interest in yourself. A lot of people can't hold interest in anything because they have lost interest in themselves. You've seen people that used to make sure that their appearance was up, made sure that they looked the part. You got people that are abandoning even looking like God anymore, man. You got women out here beautiful, but they have given up in spirit, so they let themselves go. Never let yourself go. Love yourself so that you can receive the love from others that they see that you show to you. But if they perceive that you are not showing yourself any love, why should they love you back?
That's right.
And I'm going to let the God add on to that.
No doubt. That's important, man. Be what you want to be. You can be whatever you want to be. I heard T.K. Kirkland the other day gave a real decent jewel up. And he was saying something about transgenders, right? And he used the concept of when he saw that a person can be of one gender and make themselves believe that they are another gender, then that means that you can be whatever you put your mind to.
Absolutely.
Right? And that was a hell of an allegory, but it's so real. If you believe in you and you keep pushing to be who you know you can be, then the world responds. The world conforms. No matter what it is, they'll conform eventually, long as they know that you believe it. But if you wishy-washy and you're on one side, how can somebody else have a root and a foundation in giving you the credit or the praise that you think you should get?
Facts.
Because you don't even have a foundation for yourself. And that's why knowledge of self is so important, because we live in a very dysfunctional and a distracted world. We distracted by technology, social media, reality TV, all the illusions of everything. We got so many distractions.
Indeed.
So if you don't have a firm foundation of who you are, you'll be pulled in all kinds of different directions. You'll bring that influence into your home, into your relationship, into your friendship. You start to mimic everything that you see on TV and hear in music, and you start to become everything that you claim you despise.
Yep.
You become the hater. I notice there's a lot of hating going on out here.
A lot of it.
Because a lot of people don't like to be wrong.
Yep.
Especially our people that's this color. They don't like to be wrong because everybody want to be right. So now that we got social media, we got Google, we got ChatGPT, we got AI. So now that we can search out all these things, we go and fetch stuff and go use it for right campaign. We trying to campaign to prove that we know something that you don't. Right. Instead of manifesting what you know and letting somebody come to you and say, damn, how you do that? How you move like that? That's the true teaching. Right. Not by kind of trying to evangelize nobody. Right. You shouldn't have to influence nobody to the degree that you're forcing your way of thinking on them. You just be what you represent, you are, and the ones that's supposed to get it gonna follow you, and the ones that don't will fall by the wayside. No but doubt. We can't bring those kind of people with us because they're gonna be the ones poking holes in the boat. Yeah. And you wonder why the ship's sinking, because we got a hater somewhere poking holes in the ship. Yeah. And water is getting in the ship. So you gotta be careful of who you let on your ship. And that's one of the main key ingredients that we make sure that we try to stay locked into, so that we don't allow no imposters onto our ship that's really trying to infiltrate. Yeah. We know all our black leaders came by their demise through another black man. Indeed. Whether they was working for COINTELPRO or whoever it was, it still was done by the hands of another man that looked like us. And Facts. We see it every day, all day. Division, division, division. You against me. I got to step on you for me to elevate. That concept only exists in our community. Indeed. It's like we took on all the traits that we used to hate and despise from the white man. We became that hatred that they used to have for us. We became embedded that same hatred. No doubt. So it's like we got to be careful about the influence we allow into our spirit. Right. Because it's definitely magnetic, and it'll cause you to be the leader of a bad influence, all because you serving your ego. You got to get out of your ego. We can't be functioning and thinking from the ego. We got to be more accountable. We don't see enough accountability. Nobody is ever wrong. So it's like, if you never wrong, how can you get it right?
Facts.
To get it right, you gotta be able to admit that I was wrong somewhere. And just to spin on another note before I forget, they got, for all the people that like to smoke herb, they got something called scromatin out there. It's a vomiting disease that this marijuana is being sprayed with. And we out here getting all this crap. And we going through these stomach issues and we throwing up. So if you know anybody that's really going through that, because I know a couple myself, it's a term they didn't define that it's called scromatin. And it's called bad marijuana. So it makes you throw up, you don't have an appetite, and you lose weight because you're not eating.
Right.
So whatever it is on it, it shuts down a faculty in the brain that won't even allow you to digest food properly.
Wow.
And it'll make it vomit back up, which leads to a loss of weight. So we know it's been a big conspiracy on our trying to own population control. I'm not even gonna say on our people because we ain't but 14%. And we're killing off each other by the number. So we're not the threat no more. But the threat is population control. So they creating all kinds of stuff with these chemtrails. They got stuff they're spraying that they telling us they got some stuff now that's going to be in West Virginia and Virginia, and I think Pennsylvania and some other states that they call it the rabies vaccine. So they spraying the air with these chemicals, all trying to fake us out like it's to help prevent the cause of rabies. Same way they got us with this COVID-19 crap. They allowed us, they made us, tricked us into believing to get the spike. And there's so many people, man, that stuff gave AIDS to, gave diabetes to, and created all kind of ailments on people that so many people that I know may have took that vaccine feel so ashamed to even admit that they have a health condition that they never had before, because it's going to go back to them making a move with no information, just because the government or whoever said that this is what you have to do.
Facts.
So we went and injected. I didn't. Thank goodness. I'm glad I'm a little in tune that I was wise enough to not even go that route. But so many people, man, got so many different ailments and side effects from that stuff. And it's like, and we still like cover this stuff up. This is the stuff that need to be protested and marched out against. We marching for the wrong stuff. We need to speak up about that kind of shit. They trying to really dismantle the race. There's 8 billion people on the planet. They got to annihilate a certain amount of people. And of course, the ones that seem like they have the less value are going to be the ones that get hit the hardest. Just look at the communities they putting it in. They got something out in California. They getting the blues out there. They just sprayed some stuff out there. Just look it up. Then we got 3-Eye Atlas. Look that up. That's coming. December the 19th is supposed to get its closest proximity to the planet Earth. Now, me and La Kim, we done read a lot of books that talked about this years ago, from Malachi Z. York, salute, to Malachi, Free Malachi, one of our master teachers, no doubt.
Indeed.
He put us on a long time ago in the scrolls about the planet Nibiru. And these shapeshifters and these reptilians and these highly evolved beings going from the planet, the Lemurians and Atlantis, which is under the Atlantic Ocean, and under the Pacific Ocean is where Lemuria was. They were ancient civilizations that got overthrown by their own technology, the advancement of their technology. So now that we got this 3-Eye Atlas coming, it ain't no comet, it ain't no asteroid. It's an actual higher entity, vessel that's coming this way. For what? We have no idea. But one thing that I do know, and from my reading and studying, that you have deoxyribonucleic acid. That's the DNA. This is what these extra highly evolved Greys or Pleiadians need to keep their civilization alive. Same way like Avatar. They went to that other planet to mine for this mineral that was responsible for keeping the survival of the planet intact. Almost like the book Gods of Eden, and how they had to come to planet Earth to got the slave races of our people to mine for gold so that they can use that as a protective barrier from the sun back at them. That's right, the Lulu Hamalu. That's right, and take that back as a shield because gold was a conduction of electricity.
That's right.
It would repel and help protect against the rays of the sun. So this same cycle coming back around, and they coming back, and it's going to get closer. So don't be surprised around Christmas time, we're going to have a summertime weather climate around Christmas when it's normally freezing cold. So there's a lot of wicked stuff going on. So don't be surprised when all this major stuff that NASA and them not telling us about. So look up 3-Eye Atlas and watch it. It's the size of Manhattan. It's a highly evolved spaceship with higher entities on it.
That's right.
Even when I was reading it, it was hard to fetch. It was far-fetched. But I knew it's something out there greater than us. That's responsible. That's right. 144,000. That's right. And they are coming back. So pay attention. Be in tune. Get off that goddamn reality TV and Housewives with all that drama at. Protect your frequency. Stop allowing all this toxic energy into your spirit and wonder why you're upset and angry. And I think a lot of the hidden anger come from the vaccine.
Indeed.
Break COVID down. Certificate of Vaccination Identification. That's right. 19A and 9 is I. That's right. Certificate of Vaccination ID Artificial Intelligence. They injected by way of the vaccine to trick the mRNA, which is the messenger ribonucleic acid. That's right. That's the messenger gene that shut different things off in your body that emit transmissions to allow you to be angry when they want, to allow to evoke a certain amount of energy and frequency when they want. Can you imagine how much energy is harnessed at a football game when a touchdown is scored in the whole hometown? Yeah, that's energy. That's right. This is energy that we're not even aware of because we ain't evolved to that level of comprehension yet. Right. But this is what the highly evolved beings drive off of. Facts. Energy, blood, and frequency. Facts. And I'm going to let the God build from there.
Yeah, I want to give a special shout out, you know what I'm saying, to Dr. Malachi, man, for bringing that next chapter of that degree. And I also, because I know a lot of times I talk hard about a lot of, religious leaders. But one thing I'm grateful to Master Fard and Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'm grateful to both of them for talking about the mother plane.
No doubt.
And having the heart and the courage to speak on something as controversial and introducing that piece of information to Black people.
Especially at that time.
Especially at that time. You know what I'm saying? And I want to always thank the Father, law in person, Clarence 13 next.
Indeed.
But as we close out, because it's the God hour, I want y'all to understand this, that energy has always been needed. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be directed and harnessed.
That's right. And
when you use the example of the football game, you got to look at these rap concerts. You got to look at acts of violence and massive wars where armies of people are going to war to shed blood, and the energy that's released in the blood that these reptilians use as an adrenaline rush that feed their bodies and keep them fueled into existence. This is why the peacemakers were always hated. And this is why the warmongers were always honored, because the warmongers were shedders of blood, and the energy and the life force is in the blood, and the unseen forces, the reptilians, thrive off the spilling of blood because there is an adrenaline release.
That's right.
In that activity. And you have to be totally aware of what is going on. You have to be totally overstanding of higher frequencies and things that you cannot see. You know what I'm saying? What is vastly approaching has been predicted. It has been talked about in music. Erykah Badu had a song called On and On and On. And in that song, she said, the mothership can't save you, so your ass is going to get left. Right. A lot of times we're listening, we're singing, but our vibration is not in tune with the body of information that is being imparted to us. And I think a lot of times we have to totally listen. She was talking about the God degree in you. She said, if we were created in his image, then call us by our names.
That's right.
She said, most intellects don't believe in God, but they fear us just the same. And what she was saying was, even if they don't believe in God, they fear you like you are the God.
Right.
Because the reality is you are the God.
Right.
And time is our ancestors' way of stopping everything from happening at once. So we always want to close out with the best advice. Keep building, wrap yourself with the knowledge of God, and make sure that you understand who you are. Make sure that you impart that understanding to your offspring and to your bloodline, and prepare yourself. Store up food, store up water. Something is about to happen. You don't know what's going to go down, but always be prepared and try your best to have that emergency plan that Brother Knowledge always talked about. As this ship approaches, you don't know what is going to be cut off. You don't know if the electricity going to go out. You don't know if they have to actually, if a war going to jump off.
That's right.
Because you don't know what the enemy fear by this approach. This could mean your total liberation, the raising of your vibration, the raising of the height of your consciousness. And we're always going to give you that body of information that others are afraid to talk about, because we are not religiously intoxicated, and neither are we psychologically handcuffed to believe in impossibilities.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We don't believe in impossibilities, man. We believe that we are infinite possibility. And with that, the gods say peace. Thank y'all for joining us. Much love. Salute to our warriors. Salute to the queens. And shout out to all the good people that's doing the real work. Peace.
No doubt, no doubt. And I'm going to close on that. Whatever you believe, if you believe, you definitely can be deceived. But when you know, you don't have no choice but to grow. And always remember that. You believe, you can be deceived. When you know, you can grow. When you know, that cancels belief.
Facts.
When you believe, that's proof that you just don't know. And that's cool too. But get to the level of knowledge, get to the level of self. Because at the end of the day, that's all that counts. Knowledge of self. If you don't help yourself, you can't help nobody. If yourself is deceived, then you're going to deceive the people.
Facts.
And before we close, Uncommon Dialogue, Tuesday night, you know the location, 1049 West Saratoga Street at 6:30 to 8:30. This is going to be the last session for the year, so don't miss it. We're going to be talking about, is monogamy natural or not for the man? And we're going to invite some women in, if some women want to show up and give their perspective on their take on monogamy. We already know what that's going to be, but we are open for that kind of dialogue to get some healthy conversations. No ignorance. It's going to be straight respect. We want some intelligent people so we can have an interesting dialogue, because it's the great divide between the black man and the black woman.
And we got to heal that.
And we got to find a way to heal that divide and not add to it.
Facts.
Because everybody got to figure it out except us. And we want to take this title of kings and queens, and we was here first and all that. Well, let's start acting like it. And we're going to close on that. Peace.
Peace. You said this bathroom wasn't open, Elo?
Oh, no, it was